Hey guys, it's Mindy, and today I'm going to be doing yet another Top 5 Wednesday video. As always, this was created by Lainey over at Ginger Reads Lainey, and if you're interested in joining, there is a link in the down bar where you can go to the Goodreads group to join. And if you're interested in finding more booktubers who do the Top 5 Wednesday, there's a link down below with a list of all of the Top 5 Wednesdayers. This week's topic, we are going to be talking about our top 5 favorite quotes. And I don't really know if these are necessarily my top favorite quotes, because I don't really remember every quote that I really like. But these are ones that meant a lot to me at one point in my life, and most of them still mean quite a bit to me, so I wanted to share them with you. Coming in at number 5 is a quote from It by Stephen King. Many of you know I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and it scared the living crap out of me. At the time I read it, and also the fourth book that's going to be on my list, I was going through a bit of a difficult time. I just moved back to the United States after living abroad pretty much all my life, and I was experiencing a lot of culture shock, and I kind of changed who I was from being a very outgoing person in Brazil when I lived out of the country to being a very introverted, shy, and closed-off person, which I still kind of am in a way. But there's a quote from It that says, "We lie best when we lie to ourselves," and that kind of made me open my eyes and try a little bit harder to remember who I really was when I was growing up. And although I have changed a lot since I moved back to the United States, that quote really meant a lot to me at the time, and it still makes me remember who I really was when I was younger and related to who I am now. Coming in at number 4 was also something that I read during that difficult time in my life, and it's one of those things that I don't agree with 100% of the time, but it was a good message, and at the time it's something I really needed. And it is a quote from The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, and it goes, "You cannot change who you are, but you can change what you do." I think it's along those lines. I couldn't actually find it, but I think that's pretty much the gist of what it said. And I think as a person I'm constantly changing, but a lot of those changes aren't really about my personality and who I am on the inside, but they are a result of what I'm doing on the outside. So that quote just really stuck with me, and I really enjoyed it. The next two quotes kind of go hand in hand. Coming in at number 3 is going to be a quote from A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine. And the quote is, "I do not know everything, still many things I understand." And the reason I really like this quote is because I'm always aspiring to learn new things. That's one of the reasons I read a lot. I know that I don't read educational books all the time, but learning about places in books and experiencing the lives of other characters is something I really like to absorb and learn about. And that quote kind of really stuck with me and lets me feel okay about not knowing everything. One of my biggest fears is looking stupid in front of other people, and this quote makes me realize that it's kind of impossible to always know everything, but you can still have a basic understanding of things in order to learn more day by day. And like I said, along those lines, my second favorite quote comes from The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, and the quote goes something like, "To learn is not to know, there are learners and there are the learned. Memory makes one and philosophy the other." I think it's something like that. Once again, I could not find where in the book it was, so I can't quote it word for word right now, but that's pretty much the gist of it. It's that you can memorize things and you can know facts off the top of your head, but do you really understand the things that your memory holds? A lot of the time when I was in school, I would just memorize things, but I wouldn't fully understand them. So after reading this book, I try my best whenever introduced to new information, not only to memorize that information and to hold it in my mind, but to actually understand the ins and outs of what that new information holds. And my favorite quote is going to be from Nosferatu by Joe Hill, and the quote is, "Fantasy is always a reality waiting to be switched on." And I think that's really inspirational, because a lot of science fiction and fantasy are things that people dreamed up just out of the blue. And if you look back at Jules Verne and H.G. Wells and see the things that they thought of back in the day, and then look at our modern science in the nowadays, a lot of the things that are now real were inspired in fictional aspects, like the airplane and spaceships, and it's just that really amazes me. And to think that that quote is, I mean, I'm freaking getting chills right now just thinking about how all the things that we dream up sometimes can really be unlocked and actually made real, not only, you know, for inventions and everything, but, you know, even in the movies. And it's just so inspirational, and I love it. And not only is it something great to live by, but in context with Joe Hill's work, that is something that resonates throughout pretty much all of his books. And that's one thing I loved about Joe Hill's books that I've read so far, is that is true throughout all of his books, and it's just amazing. So that is my number one quote. If you are part of Top 5 Wednesday and you've made a Top 5 Quotes video, please feel free to link that down below. I'd love to go check it out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hopefully didn't overshare. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.